So we ended up watching Karate Kid, the first movie, and it was fun to show it to the kids because Simon is about the same age of when I was little, when Karate Kid came out. And so Karate Kid is about a boy that moves from New Jersey with his mom to LA, and he gets in trouble. He joins a new school, and there's some bullies that pick on him. And he also meets the handyman that works in his new apartment building that teaches him how to defend himself with karate.
Oh, my turn. So, I've been Karate Kid, and I know how a crane kick is actually just a bird-looking thing, like you're flying, and then it's like a flamingo flying, and then it just stays down while it's having one foot, and it stays like that, and then kicks. Can we first talk about the beach party where they run over the boombox?
So Daniel goes to a beach party, right? And they're playing
with the new girl at the school.
Well, he meets the new girl at the school, yeah.
Yeah, you meant by. And so then the bullies from the new school that Daniel goes to, they come over to the party, but they're looking over from down below, and they see Daniel and the girl like making out, kind of.
I think they're just talking at this point, yeah.
Yeah, and then then Johnny gets jealous because he had who's her name?
I forget her name actually.
Well, he had her before.
Oh, he was dating her before,
yes,
yeah.
And then he got sent, but now he's now mad at the Daniel because now the girl's liking him.
Guys, now can I talk? Why do those little teenagers have motorcycles?
I know, they have dirt bike motorcycles. I wish I had one of those when I was that age.
You know, I got to ride
Luckily,
one.
they don't have a doom buggy.
So, Simon, you got to ride a dirt bike. Your cousin had a dirt bike, right?
Yes.
How was it?
I crashed a couple times.
You crashed the dirt bike?
A few times. It didn't break. I just couldn't. It was really hard. It was literally really hard because to get off of it. And that's why I crashed, because every time I started slowing down, I fall over sideways because I don't know how to get off.
Now, Caleb, you got to ride that dirt bike too. What happened?
So, I didn't crash that much. I only crashed very slowly in the gate a lot. I mean, a little bit. And then Sai's dad helps me get out, and I actually drove on the sidewalk.
You drove it on the sidewalk?
And he said, don't do it again. And also, he said, don't go on the hills again. But I actually did do it. It was so fun.
Okay, back to Karate Kid.
So Johnny gets jealous, and then they start riding down the hill to the beach. Mm-hmm. And they ride over the girl's boombox. They ride straight over it. They start trying to beat up on Daniel.
Daniel doesn't know what's going on, and he's trying to defend the girl.
So he punches Johnny in the face.
Yeah, and then Johnny kicks his butt.
Literally.
Yep.
Then after that,
he gets a black eye.
And his whole face is messed up because he gets chased on the bike. Let's talk about that. So, where was he coming from?
When he gets chased on the bike?
Yeah.
That was at night, right? He's on the bike?
The next day, he goes to school and he gets chased on. Well, whatever that.
Yeah, he gets chased on his bike and gets knocked off his bike, yeah.
And then his brake,
I need to say something.
How does it break?
I don't know, it falls down the hill.
Then his mother, when she gets home in her car, she doesn't find Johnny. And then Johnny, he comes up from what side of the motel? And he throws his bike in the dumpster.
Oh, right.
Because it breaks. And then we see Mr. her mother, who brings him inside to help him be okay. And Mr. Miyagi, he comes out from the closet they were
from the super's room, yeah. Then Mr. Miyagi fixes that bike, right? And he brings it back to him.
Yeah. And then he said thanks. And then I think after that, he asked Mr. Miyagi if he can teach karate.
Yeah, I think though he thanks Mr. Miyagi, and then doesn't Mr. Miyagi, while he was being thanked, he's cutting the bonsai trees,
Yes.
and then he teaches Daniel some patience of cutting the bonsai trees.
And then he asks, "Do you know anything about karate?" Right.
Right.
And then he says,
He
"I
says,
could teach you." Right.
well, originally he doesn't want to teach him, right? He says no, and then he finally says yes.
He teaches him in a way that that Daniel doesn't understand because Mr. Miyagi wants he says during the lessons that boys think that karate is fighting, all about fighting, but it's actually about defense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Daniel doesn't understand. But also, Mr. Miyagi, he does like this weird way of teaching it. It's all about patience and
He teaches them by doing tasks
First
around the
he
house.
does. First, it's kind of like chores. That's what Daniel thinks at first.
Right. So let you name one, and then Caleb can name one.
Okay. One of them was paint the fence.
Right.
Wasn't that up down?
That was up down with your wrist.
Yeah. He paints up and down on every strip of the fence. But the funny part about that is when he paints the fence, he says, "Okay, I'm done." And Mr. Miyagi says, "Okay, now it's time for you to do the next part." And there's more fence all around the entire house.
I actually want to tell you something about the movie. That was actually a fake fly, and somebody attached it onto something and then flew it around.
Oh, you're talking about the bug.
Wait, actually, I forgot to add that to my list, but can we talk about that after this?
Sure. Okay, Caleb, can you name one of the movements that Mr. Miyagi was teaching? We did the painting the fence.
Sanding the floor.
Sanding the floor was
And
one of them.
waxing the car.
Right.
Now someone can say it.
Oh, there's 4 of them? What was the 4th one, Simon?
What did he say?
Wax on, wax off. Sanding the floor.
Sanding the deck.
Yeah, sanding the deck.
And then there's also paint house. What was it?
Oh, the paint the house one. That's right.
What was that?
I think that was side to side like this.
Yes. No, wax car was this one.
Was the circular motions, yeah.
And what was sand the deck at?
I think sand the deck was also circular. It's just low circular instead of
Daddy?
high blocking.
Your pillow is like as soft as I think a waffle or just so soft.
It is a very soft pillow, yeah.
Then there's one I forgot to mention, the crane kick thing, which that's when Daniel starts realizing this is actually karate he's teaching him.
Yeah, I didn't realize in the movie Mr. Miyagi doesn't actually teach him the crane kick. Mr. Miyagi does the crane kick on the beach, but doesn't instruct him on how to do it. So then later, Daniel goes to the beach and practices it on his own.
Okay, now we can talk about that part you just added earlier. Then the next day later, before the crane kick, Daniel goes to Mr. Miyagi's house because Mr. Miyagi's not there, no note of what to do. So he goes inside his house, and Mr. Miyagi's sitting there holding chopsticks, and he's trying to catch a fly with them.
Oh, chopsticks, yeah.
And then Daniel comes in and says, "What you doing?" He said, "Trying to catch fly with chopstick." And he said, anyone who catch fly with chopstick can accomplish anything. And the funny part is, when Daniel, he tries, and he waits for the fly to come closer, and he snaps at it a few times, and then he catches it. He said, "Mr. Miyagi, look, I caught it." Mr. Miyagi looks at his chopsticks, and then he just throws his chopsticks back in the cup, and then just walks away.
Yeah, he was frustrated.
Oh, and about that is that it's impossible for a fly. It's impossible to catch a fly with chopsticks, but it's impossible for somebody holding a fake fly and moving around. Because Mr. Miyagi was close to it, so they moved it away, and then moved it near Daniel, and then moved it away.
Yeah, I think the way they did it was you're right. They hung it from like a fishing line, and they bounced the fly up and down like this, so it looked like it was flying, and they were trying to catch it that way.
See,
It wasn't a real
they
fly.
literally didn't have a plan of where the fly would go. They were just randomly trying to catch it as quick as they could without taking an hour.
And I think Daniel's reaction when he actually caught it, I think was a genuine reaction of like, I actually caught it, because it was probably pretty hard to still catch it, even though they were doing it with a fake fly and a string.
We also, then there's, the next thing on my list is the Halloween party is probably the funniest part, one of the funny. Yes, and Our first thing I want to talk about is when Daniel dances in the shower with what? Who is it? The girl.
I can't
It's
remember.
the girl. But
I can't remember her
they
name.
weren't in a real shower. Daniel's costume was a shower.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
He sees the girl and he brings her in the shower and they dance together. And I think Daniel wanted to be a shower so that the bullies wouldn't find him very easily.
Actually, he could not be seen if he was wearing a random costume with his face out, so he can blend in with all the people in the crowd.
The girlfriend's name was Allie. That's what it was.
Yeah, so Daniel dances with Allie.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, Daniel, he sees that the bullies are there and he kind of like runs away, but instead he actually goes in the bathroom to prank Johnny, the
Right.
boy who broke Allie's boombox.
Mm-hmm. What does he do?
And he puts, where did he get the hose from again?
I think there was a sink there
Yeah.
for the custodian to use.
There's a sink for the custodian to use with the hose attached, and Dan, he brings the hose over to the, which area, what was it called again? The stall where the Johnny was sitting in the bathroom, and Daniel puts the hose over that stall, right over his head, and he turns on the water, and then you just hear this, ah, in his stall, and then Daniel runs away because
Sammy, you're a little
he's
too
gonna
loud.
So he runs away, and the bullies catch up to him, and the gate was kind of locked. It wasn't really locked though, but he was just too worried that they'd catch up to him too quickly, so he couldn't unlock it very well. So he got to the hotel, but he couldn't get inside. And then the bullies, they caught up to him, and they started beating him up real bad. And then one of the bullies pins him to the. Then Johnny pins Daniel to the fence, and one of the bullies yells, "No, Johnny, he's had enough." And they said, "You're gonna kill him, Johnny." And they start saying he's crazy. And so that's when Johnny tries running at him to kill him. So then Mr. Miyagi saves him. Daniel.
I need to tell you something. I wish they made a karate ride. That would be cool.
A karate ride?
Yeah.
Karate Kid the ride?
Yeah.
What would you do on it?
Oh, you will sit and there's a big screen and you see them fight and they're fighting outside and you have to run away from them before they ever get you. You're gonna be Daniel. You're gonna be Daniel
I
fighting.
could kind of picture it like the E.T. ride where you're kind of riding through the woods and stuff, and you'll come up to where Johnny wants to kick Danny's butt on the beach, and then behind the fence, and then I think that'd be kind of interesting to kind of
And
do
then
like
you
a
just
ride
go,
through
and
that.
then your ride goes backward, kind of like
I
in
did
the
not
Mummy.
like the E.T.
And the
because
Mummy
you know why?
Returns.
Those cops were just mannequins, and I didn't see their mouths moving or their bodies moving. That was so terrible.
It was. I never really liked that.
Also, by the way, the Cobra Kai, which is the karate
School, yeah.
school that Johnny goes to, and those bullies, they were all in skeleton costumes.
They were.
Okay, the next one is the last part.
Okay, what happens at the last part?
It's the karate tournament.
Oh, right.
Yeah, oh wait, I almost forgot to mention. Mr. Miyagi, he finds out that some bullies are bullying Daniel, and he knows they know karate, but fighting karate. And then he asks Daniel, "Do you know where they right? Is that what do you know where they learn?"
Yeah.
And
but
then Daniel brings them to that area. Actually,
Yeah.
Daniel found that area. When Daniel and Mr. Miyagi both go in there, you see the teacher talking to Johnny because they saw Mr. Miyagi beat them up. And the teacher goes to Mr. Miyagi when they come inside, talks to him. But Mr. Miyagi makes a deal of if you cannot hurt Daniel until after the tournament, and so so they can't hurt him until after the tournament. Then the karate tournament comes up. So first I want to talk about how the Cobra Kai keeps cheating in every round. Can you talk about this part too?
I don't know if they cheat in every round, but they do beat up a lot of people.
Headshot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, in the movie, the tournament is like a big karate fight against protecting yourself and fighting. And also, Daniel is actually sometimes bouncing back the fight the bully is doing. Like when he tries to punch, it bunts back at him. So I like this movie. I like all of them actually. I like
the Cobra Kai cheat that when they start cheating at the beginning of the tournament in the mini arenas. Can you talk about some of those, Dad?
I mean, it's just a montage of the different fights and how each of the kids are beating up, the other person. So a lot of the Cobra Kai.
And they're not like punching for the stomach. They're doing the heads. They're trying to hurt, not to win.
They're winning by not doing regulated moves that are supposed to be done.
The weirdest part about it is why don't the people eliminate them if they're cheating?
You're allowed to get some mistakes. You're allowed to make some mistakes, and that's what they're seeing as mistakes and not actual, trying to beat them. So they let the mistakes go, but when it gets too much, that's when they get disqualified.
But they never escalated that, right?
At the end, remember the one guy gets disqualified. He said he didn't want to get disqualified, but the coach says, do it anyway.
I really don't like at the end sometimes karate tournaments that you sometimes get plastic trophies or real trophies.
Well, all trophies are not made out of gold or anything. They're all made out of plastic or wood or cheap metal.
But the trophies, like trophies, like your Emmy Award, Dad, those are not gold, but what are they?
That one's plated in gold, but it's not all gold. It's other metal.
But lots of trophies that you kind of win with.
Well, yeah, there's gold.
or just silver.
The trophies for professional leagues like basketball and baseball and football, those trophies are much higher quality trophies than a kid's karate tournament trophy.
You say we're focusing on Karate Kid, not
I'm talking about the trophies that you just brought up. So we're talking about how the quality of trophies.
So which kid was it who he said, "I'm sorry, Daniel, I'm sorry," because he injured his leg?
He sweeped his leg.
No, not that.
That's when he.
No, the part where the kid who didn't want to, not Johnny, the other kid who injured his leg.
That was the kid, because he said sweep the leg, and he's like, I don't want to.
But that was because his leg was already injured. When did he injure his leg?
I don't know. The round before it, the one round before.
One of the rounds he was in, one of the Cobra Kai kids.
Right, he hurt Daniel, but then got disqualified, so Daniel could move up to the next fight if he was able to fight again, and they thought he couldn't. But then what did Mr. Miyagi do?
He said he did that thing, that hot thing.
Yeah, he clapped his hands and rubbed them.
His leg was kind of healed. So then they go to the final fight, and then the teacher tells Johnny to sweep his leg.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
And then and Johnny doesn't want to do it. And the way he sweeps the leg is before Daniel can kick, Johnny, what does he do? Johnny grabs his leg and then does his hand.
Oh yeah, he hits the side
in a
of the knee.
sideways motion, and then hits under his leg really hard.
Yeah, so that would hurt your joint there. What, Caleb?
And so the only way how to stop somebody by winning, if somebody doesn't get the trophy and you're hurt, and somebody who asks is that another person is gonna play karate, who's the same person who got hurt, then that stops somebody from winning. And then you have to fight again, and then after that round, they win.
And then Daniel says he can try to fight again, and he goes and fights Johnny, and what happens?
There's a crane kick, and the crane kick is impossible to do in real life, Dad. Right? Dad? The crane kick is impossible. But Daniel, he had to bounce on his one leg because his other leg was injured, so he had to lift that one off the ground. So you're standing on one leg. And the crane kick is where he had to jump on one leg, kick with that leg he jumped on, and then land with that same leg.
Yeah, it's more of a spectacle. It's more of an interesting move than an actual powerful kick.
actually, I can't do that because I've only tried it, and instead of doing a jump kick, I jump or just jump and land, or I either like kick and then I fall again.
Yeah, you have to practice it. Okay,
But
so
you
then,
can't. It's
so
impossible.
Johnny gets kicked by Daniel, and Daniel wins the tournament. He gets the next point, so he wins the tournament, and he gets a trophy, right, Caleb?
I need to tell you what something what could have been cool if he fighted somebody. If he fighted the teacher who did all those bullies.
Then at the end, Johnny gave him the trophy because he was respectful.
Johnny gave her the trophy.
Daniel, remember at the end he gives him
Wait,
the...
Johnny won?
No, Johnny loses, but he respects Daniel after Daniel defeats him and gives him the trophy and says,
Which trophy?
He's in second place. though.
Which
He's in
trophy? Which
the
trophy?
final trophy. Daniel gets the final trophy. But right at the end, Johnny gives him the trophy.
Which
It's like,
trophy? The golden one or the silver
the
one?
big trophy of the whole thing. Johnny gives it to
duh.
Daniel because he respects Daniel.
Johnny takes it from the judge and gives it to him like that.
Yeah, but I like that fact that
It's kind of. I thought I was confused.
I like that touch because
I was
it could have been
confused.
simple to just make Johnny the villain the whole time and be mad about him losing to Daniel. But Johnny was like, "You did your best. I appreciate it. Here's the trophy." He was very respectful. I like that part of it. So that was the end of Karate Kid. What would you give? How many kicks would you give Karate Kid? 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. How many
Wait,
kicks?
okay. Actually, how about 1 be okay? Oh, well, that's kind of mean to kick a movie.
Yeah, but it's part of the theme of the
I know.
movie.
But why would you do hamsters last time?
Because I thought it was funny because it was a pet shop. We could do hamsters. How many hamsters do you want to give it?
I want to give it 10.
I'll give it 8 kicking hamsters.
I will
8
give
kicking.
It,
Why would you not like it that much?
I will get